Okay.
All right.
It's fairly standard on the defense for Sydney Drop Bears. 3-3 with the Winston, as you would expect here on this point. Sometimes you might see the Ana, but Fluro on Lucio is not going to be too much of a problem at all. Mindfreak, probably be looking for another 3-3 here as well. Bus is just going to roll out on that Sombra as a scout. Now, the fact that Aki is on to Roadhog, that is a bit interesting. He's probably waiting to see what is Sydney Drop Bears playing here. Is he going to go on to Ana or Zenyatta? Decide Zenyatta once that information has come across, as Bus also is going to commit to the Reinhardt, which tends to be what I think he has a bit more success on, rather than the Winston.
I like how you've been talking for a full minute and nothing's actually happened yet.
Well, this is the way that the Overwatch meta has sort of developed at times.
All right,
Oh,
here we go.
Nice
Nice little boop, of course, as you said, coming out from Fluro. Almost manages to find Addy. Not going to be the case, however. Dreamer has done a reasonable job of starting to get some charge up, but it doesn't matter if the rest of the team goes down. Yang is out, a Kraken is out. Now the Drop Bears will find themselves trying to hold this objective with what is only 3 players. It's just a matter of time as the pause comes out. The Drop Bears have lost a player once more. It's not what you want to see.
Looks to be a Kraken this time, which is relatively unfortunate. I think he was one of the players that went down really early in that one as well. It was Nyang and a Kraken, so I don't know, maybe the disconnection occurred and that's what's allowed another pick to come across for Mindfreak, but
I don't know.
Is what it is. Australia Internet, welcome to it. Sydney Drop Bears probably lose the point. At this point, it doesn't seem like Mindfreak are really going to have too many troubles knocking over those last couple of players.
No.
And that's going to be a very fast cap on Numbani, sets them up really nicely for Phase B and, I mean, Phase C if they get there, which with the amount of time that they've got into Phase B, they probably should.
Yeah.
And the fact that into Phase B, you tend to see the 3-3 compositions kind of reigning supreme. You know, normally on point A, there can be a bit of DPS kind of coming out, maybe some bunker coming out on the defense, or even some DPS on the attack. And maybe you knock over point A, but then you have to swap off onto 3-3 goats for Phase B. And that can be a problem, which is what we saw yesterday for Legacy against Order. They couldn't win that 3-3 match in Phase B. It's not going to be a problem for Mindfreak. 3-3 matchups have been well in their favour.
Right? It has. That's normally been the thing that we have seen. That's the tendency where the reason that some of these teams that were maybe not as good in the past are finding success in this season is because they're being able to play something a little bit different, even if that 3v3 or that 3-3 even isn't where they want it to be. Or a Kraken does come back and comes back with no charge on the ultimate either. That is also very much less than ideal. As Mindfreak G capture objective A, get onto the payload.
Yep. Well, 5 minutes.
Dreamers
That's what they've got.
Swapped off. Also now, you can see.
Yeah, sometimes it's difficult to take that Winston versus Reinhardt matchup. Oh, flank around the back here for Sydney Drop Bears, although Mindfreak are not going to get caught off by that at all. Graviton surge through.
Yeah, looking to follow this up with damage, and they'll find Fluro to start this off. You can see, to be fair, Mindfreak took a fair bit of damage themselves, but Shoyo is going to get demeched and picked up. So this is really just making life in the end. Look, it's one of those situations you go, well, they took the early fight, right? You talk about this a lot, Jordan.
Yep.
Taking the early fight, but at the same time now, this is going to be a Mindfreak team sitting on a lot of ultimates. I guess the Drop Bears are going to be close as well.
Well, you have 2 objectives with that early fight. One is to stall the payload as much as possible, because in theory, taking those early fights, you're not necessarily expecting to win it. You're not expecting to hold the point there at all times. Although on Numbani, you do sometimes see it held there. And to an extent, Sydney Drop Bears, you know, they bought 30 seconds or so for themselves. But you also want to be trying to take ultimates away from Mindfreak, force them to invest something there. And really, only the Graviton Surge goes in, 66% already built by Addy. It's a bit of a nothing fight, really, in that respect for Sydney Drop Bears. This might as well be 6 ultimates available for Mindfreak.
Yeah, well, the self-destruct comes through from Kiki, but it won't find anyone. Aki with quite an aggressive transcendence. The Earthshatter from Dreamer hits both Bast and Kiki. Swuko drops the other support ultimate here for Mindfreak. August going to follow up as well, but you can see a nice little shatter came out from Bast. See if it's going to be enough. Graviton Surge here from Addy. Mindfreak throwing everything into this fight, and right now not getting anything out of it.
Yeah, that's not a really good situation at all for Mindfreak to lose a fight like that when you had a fairly distinct ult advantage going into it, just not being able to get the value. I mean, the Shadow was decent, hit a Kraken, but he survives. There was sound barriers out on both sides, Transcendence out on both sides. And Sydney Drop Bears just being able to use theirs a little bit better. So we're kind of reset a little now. And in fact, actually, I think that does turn the tables more so to Sydney Drop Bears.
Well, they need something to go in their favour, right? They need something here to help them out. And hopefully, for the Drop Bears, this is going to be one of those things. Aki, who we saw use that very aggressive early Transcendence, now is going to have it available once again. Going to be needed up against Yang, potentially. And this Graviton Surge is going to come out in just a moment. Going to tick across to 100%. They can see that the Diva is to the side. That means, can we throw it out when they drop down onto the ground? We'll have to wait and see. Self-destruct comes through. Addy goes down, however, and already it's a 1-for-1. The Drop Bears had lost their main tank, who now respawns. Self-destruct from Kiki. No excuse for this, not to find picks. There's no tank there to deal with it. Not going to be the case, however. Aki eventually uses the Transcendence, as does the Kraken. But Winter goes down first, and that is less than ideal. Bust has an Earth Shatter, as does Dreamer, so it's really about who gets the better shatter off, and it is shattered by
August.
It is cancelled by August there with the shield bash, and as a result, the Drop Bears will lose this checkpoint. Less than
First
ideal
time
for them.
we've really seen Dreamer not get a great shatter off. I mean, I guess to an extent he has had a couple that haven't necessarily done what they've done, but hasn't actually like had one cancelled. That was great from August. Of course, it does allow Mindfreak to push on through to phase C with 3 minutes on the clock. It's not a huge amount of time, but definitely enough to play with here for 3 or 4 fights that can be used to try and capture it.
Has grab here available, throws it through. Self-destruct. Kiki just sits it on the payload. I'm not sure if that was intentional
well,
or
it
not,
worked.
but at 5-3. See ya later.
Honestly,
the payload gets moving.
I was about as stunned as you, and I think maybe Shoyo flew on a Kraken word
Was that,
too.
I feel like it's one of those situations where you go to hit shift, but shift isn't actually ready yet.
Yeah.
And you just jump out of your mech and you're like, well, that
Damn
was
it.
less than ideal. Either way, it works. And now they come up through to the final checkpoint here. And Mindfreak looking pretty good.
They certainly are. Sydney Drop Bears probably scratching their heads after that, but back into the swing of things with Yang having Graviton Surge and Dreamer almost there for the Earth Shatter as well. It'll be a tough push actually for Mindfreak now.
Kiki trying their best there to grab the grab. Unfortunately, not going to be the case. Graviton Surge hits the majority of the Mindfreak team, but Aki will keep them alive with the Transcendence. Dreamer will go down. Spawn advantage to the Drop Bears. We'll see how much they can slow this progress down. They now have no ultimates to work with. Yang, Shoyo, both going to get stunned up. I think that was actually a pretty good shatter coming out from Bust, to be honest. Self-destruct should probably seal the deal here as Dreamer goes down. The payload gets across the line, and I suspect with still a bit of time left there in the time
Minute
bank.
and a half or so. It was 1 minute 36. And that is a very respectable time indeed from Mindfreak.
Yeah.
To be able to get point A so quickly. And even like from really the only problems I think there for Mindfreak was in phase B, where they kind of got held at point B.
Yeah.
If they would have won that fight at point B, you're looking at like 3+ minutes in the time bank there. And given that Sydney Drop Bears have, I mean, struggled a lot more on the attack so far today than Mindfreak did. Again, going back to Temple of Anubis. Have to hope for the best for Sydney Drop Bears. They're now facing down, obviously, match point, like you mentioned, at the end of Temple of Anubis. I mean, it's still salvageable here. This is still a winnable map. But even a draw, or, I mean, I guess that's going to be pretty wishful thinking as well at this point for Sydney Drop Bears. Is probably going to be enough for Mindfreak.
Yeah, well, that's it, right? They'll take anything at this stage. Anything that's not a loss gets them the win. I was going to say the victory. The victory. They'll take either the win or the victory, I suspect. But look, at the end of the day, Mindfreak have played very well this evening. The Sydney Drop Bears, so far, does not feel like they have turned up. Again, maybe they've been a little bit unlucky. A couple of disconnects, perhaps. Look, if the order's the same, it was I think it was a Kraken last time, maybe who disconnected in the first game. It was certainly a player in the same position.
It was a Kraken.
Yeah, so I don't know. Not a great day for them.
Yeah, that is the struggle. Well, look at this shield setup. It's like a phalanx. Be able to get a spear through there. But Sydney Drop Bears are going to take the route through basically the main streets, which is not really what you typically always see.
Yeah, just walking straight down the middle.
Well, it's difficult to get this composition then off the high ground, unless Flora's going to have the world's best boop. No reason for Addy to drop, no reason for Aki to drop. They're not going to be able to deal with the Zenyatta easily at all. And it's like Sydney Drop Bears have kind of walked into a roadblock and said, oh, well, we don't really know what we want to do from here. Just taking free poke from Mindfreak.
Yeah, and that poke's going to cost them Shoyo, along with the rest of the team. Yang going to be up to 50% now on the EMP. For the cost of, I suppose, 1 minute of time and some ultimate charge to the rest of Mindfreak G. It's going to be need to be one heck of an EMP, Jordan, is all I'm going to say.
Yeah.
But hey, I just said how easy it was to use earlier, so I can't have it both ways, I suppose.
Slow and steady wins the race for Sydney Drop Bears, maybe.
Maybe
it's the comeback in the late stages of this map, but it's really looking like a difficult scenario for them, isn't it?
It is definitely, yeah.
89% though, or 79% for Nyang. It's going to be 89 in just a second. This is where maybe Mindfreak starting to struggle, but that's another 30 seconds off the clock. And given the fact that Sydney Drop Bears are so isolated now behind Mindfreak, and it's weird to say they're isolated because they're all together, but this is such a position where Mindfreak can actually capitalize on it, wipe them.
Shatter will come through, double Shatter used. I don't think anyone gets hit other than Kiki, who will get D-Mac. Bust quite low, and he throws out the grab. Transcendence from a crack and keeps the Drop Bears alive. They've already lost Dream of the EMP over the top. I was about to say,
only hit 2.
This could allow them some reasonable positioning, but Aki was already sitting there with the Transcendence, I believe. And it means that EMP is not going to have the result that it requires. Earthshatter again coming out from Buster. Kraken goes down. This fight needs to be wiped. They need to get out.
Yeah, they need to get out, or they need to win the fight, which is obviously not really an option at this point. Just charging on forward just to scare them off, and yeah, it's really unfortunate because Nyang throws the Transcendence in. It only hits 2, like you say. Aki already has Transcendence up, so...
Yeah, I thought that EMP was actually... I thought that this was going to be the play where Nyang could get back so quickly, obviously playing the Sombra, that maybe the Drop Bears would be in great positioning where Mindfreak's not really looking for the EMP coming through. Grab going to come out here. Don't even see where that goes. The beat is dropped by Swilko. Nice self-destruct from Kiki, and I can't help but wonder, is this GG?
I'd imagine that it is, Ben. It just seems to be falling by the wayside for Sydney Drop Bears at this point. Kiki is having a phenomenal series. So is Bus. I mean, look, I don't want to read down the line for Mindfreak, but they basically are all kind of having a great day today. It's just so easy to see it, though, when it's Kiki being able to find big diva bombs like that with no assistance even. Bus continually able to hit good shatters.
It's the same sort of results we were seeing from Diva self-destructs when Goat sort of started tanking off, and it felt like the support ultimate usage maybe wasn't as refined at that point, right? It was easier to get those picks. This is the Drop Bears' last chance to get on the board, and August 9th goes down. That's a nice little pick, but a huge shatter going to come through from Bast. Dreamer used one as well. August is down, Aki is down, but Winter and Kraken both picked up. Shoyo will be D-Mech. Dreamer doing what Dreamer can to keep the Drop Bears in this one. Mindfreak, they have to decide. It's
not over just yet. Mindfreak are going to be able to contest. Kiki can get the touch if necessary, although he is being forced back. Fluo was hanging around as well.
Gets onto the point just in the nick of time, but it won't be the nick of time at all. So,
yeah, that was... I think that was salvageable for Mindfreak, but Kiki just was taking a little bit too much damage up there on the high ground that kind of meant he had to fall back and try to keep the mech alive, and he wasn't really going to be able to touch. And
Did Kiki have self-destruct when they got on the point? Or maybe only got it just afterwards?
I think he only just got it after.
Yeah, okay. Oh man, well, fortunately here for the Sydney Drop Bears, they do manage to make that one work. 2 minutes added to the clock.
Yeah, 2 minutes is not really enough.
It's going to be tough, isn't it, really? It's going to be tough. Yang on the high ground, going to be waiting for this grab with good positioning. Self-destruct comes out from Kiki. Is it going to be successful? No, not really. Will force the team back. The grab from Yang, though, is successful. Aki follows this up with the Transcendence, but not before Addy goes down. You see the damage coming out from Dreamer there, particularly with that nano boost from a Kraken is enough to get them through. The Bionade as well, going to make life tough for Mindfreak. This is what the Drop Bears need to do. They need to have a very clean second phase of this map.
Great sleep under Bus, and yeah, you're 100% right, Ben. Sydney Drop Bears, because Mindfreak wasn't able to set up and have that early fight just under, or just above the spawn point, means that Sydney Drop Bears only have to win one fight in Phase B, and that's kind of salvaged the situation a little bit for them. Still difficult to believe that they're actually going to go through with a time bank advantage into the overtime, but with that said, if they can keep a minute on the clock here or 30 seconds on the clock, that might just be enough to cap out point A and then push in overtime.
Yeah, anything is possible at this point. Shatter available for both of our Reinhardts. Mindfreak with the support ultimate advantage. Grab comes through. There's the Shatter, finds 3 including Dreamer, but it won't find Fluoro. Sound Barrier will keep the team going as Self-Destruct comes through and finds August. Bas and Kiki both got bionated, and now that means that it is very tough for them to stay alive. Bas has gone down. Kiki will get D-Mexed. The Drop Bears have found their momentum. Have they found their mojo?
Well, maybe they have, but Mindfreak still has a couple of dirty tricks in their back pocket, namely the Rally and Transcendence. Transcendence obviously going to be really good for cancelling out Nyang's Graviton Surge. Mindfreak are going to have to get to the point first. If the grab cuts them off, that's not going to be too fun, but we'll grab them onto the cart. Trans to counter.
Yeah, Trans is the last hope. You can see the Binade makes a big difference, though. No heals for August or Bus, who go down. Kiki on the ground coming out from Dreamer and that Earth Shatter. And this could be it, Jordan. This could be Sydney Drop Bears getting the payload across the line and doing so with still 60 seconds on the clock.
Well, really important for Mindfreak to continue trying to buy as much time as possible. August will just get their Bus. It's going to be such a problem on that Wrecking Ball. Such a slippery character. They're trying to bounce him off the point. He still gets there for the contest. Now Aki fades in on Moira. That's another 10 or 15 seconds bought away from Sydney Drop Bears, which is going to help Mindfreak in this time bank. But massive credit to Sydney Drop Bears for actually being able to finish that map with time available.
So,
which they needed to do.
Yeah, exactly. So those seconds essentially that they took from the Sydney Drop Bears instead get added to Mindfreak as the Drop Bears are rolled on up. And well, yeah. We'll see how this one plays out. 1 minute and 1 minute 43 seconds respectively.
Doesn't sound like much, but it's a big difference.
It is not much at all. It's certainly not enough time, for example, to use that same Sombra play you would expect.
It's probably the difference between one fight and two fights, though.
Exactly.
But definitely winnable from this position for Sydney Drop Bears. They just need to have a good solid attack. I think the pass score here at least is to be able to cap out point A. If they don't get too far in Phase B, pushing that payload, okay, at least you can try and play around the defense of point A. But for Sydney Drop Bears, if they're not able to cap out point A, Mindfreak, you start looking at them to be the ones to finish this map off and finish this series off. But we do feel like, yeah, there may be a bit of a resurgence here for Sydney Drop Bears after that attacking side.
I hope for the Drop Bears that they can do this.
With that said, Ben, if you remember, their difficulty was capturing point A. The rest was the easy part for Sydney Drop Bears, it seemed.
Well, they're going to be running out with Nyang here, not on Sombra, but instead on Zaya. As we said, 60 seconds, probably not enough time to get that EMP up. It's certainly taken them longer than that every other time they've tried it. So now, they need to pick their fight. They either die now, or make this one work.
Well, it seems as though they have to make this one work with 30 seconds. It's going to be a real struggle to get back to the point. Lots of damage done, and a great Bionade goes through, but there's the capitalization. It's not there.
Somehow it's Dreamer who goes down first, and Shoyo gets D-Mexed.
Oh dear.
This is all falling apart right now for the Sydney Drop Bears. No amount of great Bionades coming out from a Kraken can save them today.
10 seconds for Sydney Drop Bears. Sure, they'll be able to get a touch, but it means that Dreamer has to move over onto Wrecking Ball, which is a disadvantage in itself. No shield available here means Bus gets that shatter up, which he's close to doing.
Yep. So we will get into overtime. The rest of the team will follow onto the point. Shoyo dives on in, but Aki has the Transcendence. Kiki does get D-Mexed. But Choyo's also been picked up. There's the shatter.
Can't cancel
That could
it.
be the round-ending shatter right there, Jordan.
I think it might be. Winter falls, Dreamer, he's still being pretty slippery on that Wrecking Ball. Grab is going to miss. That may be an opening for Sydney Drop Bears. That said, though, all the players die anyway.
They do. Dreamer will go down also. And 60 seconds was not much time to work with, to be honest. It was definitely doable, but perhaps unlikely.
They didn't get any ticks there, did they, Sydney Drop Bears?
So here's the point, Jordan. Here's the point right now. Congratulations to Mindfreak G. They've now won this series. They have defeated the back-to-back-to-back champions of yesteryear.
Yeah.
Essentially. Can they pick this map up? They've at least got the 2
I think so.
on the board that they require now that this is at worst a draw.
It gives you a lot of flexibility having that extra fight in your back pocket here as Mindfreak, because when we were talking about that for Sydney Drop Bears, we got to 30 seconds left. We said, you know what, they now have to commit to this fight. They have to win this fight. Otherwise, they're going to have to be forcing off onto things like the Wrecking Ball, which means you lose all the Earth Shatter charge that you build up on Dreamer there. Won't necessarily be the case for Mindfreak here, because they'd have that, extra, well, in this case, 40 seconds, but you get down to maybe like 45 seconds. You feel like, okay, we can reset. We can have one more good, solid attempt where we can get a proper touch. We don't have to swap off. We don't need to do anything too rash just yet. So that will inevitably allow you to build your ultimates just a bit easier as well. So for Mindfreak, the situation is looking a lot better than it was for Sydney Drop Bears. But that's not to say that they will win this map. I mean, a minute 43 is not a lot of time to cap Numbani first. No. Let's be honest. And Mindfreak did get a little bit lucky being able to cap it out because the Kraken disconnected at the start of Numbani.
I believe they did, yes. Seems like more than a coincidence, doesn't it? That a Kraken was the first one down, whilst also at some point disconnecting. So Bus gets an idea and says, hey, we know what they're playing. Probably exactly what was to be expected.
Yeah, that's about 20 or 30 seconds off the clock, though, for Mindfreak. So we do almost get into one fight territory. Almost. Depends how long this fight goes for. But Mindfreak are certainly putting the pedal to the metal now.
Yeah, very aggressive is Mindfreak up over the top of Kraken. The first one down. Kiki quite low. Stays alive. There's the DMAC coming out. It's essentially a 1-for-1 coming through, but the Drop Bears need to do more here. They're going to hold this out. Dreamer goes down. Bus coming out with the huge plays.
2-man fire strike.
This could be it, Jordan. Yes.
Bus gets another one.
2 players with 1 E. There's 4. That's it. GG.
That is it, yeah.
GG to Mindfreak G. Going to seal the deal here on Numbani. And it's 3-0 up against the Sydney Drop Bears. So as we said before, they'd already locked themselves in the victory today. But now they've got 3 maps on the board. Potentially, Jordan, looking to make this a 4-0? Surely not.
I mean, I definitely think it's possible at this point. Mindfreak are really, really putting everything into this series, and they're kind of smacking Sydney Drop Bears around a little bit. No small part of that due to Bus's hammer, and it's not a fun thing to get smacked with, I'm sure. But for Sydney Drop Bears, again, sort of the same issue coming out there on Numbani A with the Kraken getting picked early. This time he didn't disconnect, I don't think, and so I think actually a lot of that comes down to the boop that they were able to get onto Dreamer. They kind of knocked him out of position, knocked him off the top, and for some reason, a Kraken wasn't really able to get out of that massive clump of Mindfreak players. And once your main healer goes down in that instance,
I'm still not sure whether Kiki intended to do that.
I think he was getting a DMAC'd.
Right. That'll do it. Well, you'll take it. Yeah. You'll definitely take it. That was a big play as well. Young going down there to August when they could have done with the EMP, that is for sure. A lot of very important moments in this game. Could have gone either way. Kiki has been on point, though, with the self-destruct.
I love that interaction there as well, with Dreamer being knocked up in the air. Just gave Bus enough time to block his shatter, and then he knows that there's absolutely no chance Dreamer's going to be able to block his because he's out of position. What a great shatter there from Bus. It wasn't enough, actually, to save that point because it still went the way of Sydney Drop Bears. But in the end, I want to go back to what you just said as well about so many interactions, so many little moments that could have kind of gone either way. Yeah. Well, yeah, there's been a lot of those, but they've all gone the way of Mindfreak. That's the difference. It's like, okay, they're close, but Mindfreak's winning them all.
These are the little bits and pieces, right, that these games come down to. Particularly when teams are so very close, and apparently this Mindfreak team and this Sydney Drop Bears team look close in theory, but the results are all going Mindfreak's way. And look, if you were to play this match again in a week, I don't know. I wouldn't be confident in the same result that we're seeing today.
I think I'd have a reasonable confidence that Mindfreak would be able to pick up the series win again. They are definitely looking a lot stronger than Sydney Drop Bears are so far. We're seeing individuals on Sydney Drop Bears just not performing to the level that they need to. Nyang hasn't been hitting the Graviton surges. He's been struggling to kind of get them even past Kiki's defense matrix. Kraken's been getting caught off a couple of times. You know, there's no big diva bombs coming out from Shoyo.
Well,
like
if
what
they
we're
do go
used to.
head-to-head again, Jordan, and the Drop Bears come out on top, you can buy me a cheeseburger.
Maybe we'll see that in perhaps playoffs, depending on where the teams end up sitting on the standings.
Wouldn't that be a crazy world where we get to playoffs and Mindfreak are the highest seed up against the Sydney Drop Bears going head-to-head at some point? What a world. This is a very exciting season of Contenders. Everything is upside down. I guess we are in Australia. Does that make it the right way up? I'm not really sure. Either way, we're heading back to Havana now as our fourth and what we know is our final map of this set. Mindfreak looking to make it a 4-0, and that would be a big statement, I think, both for Mindfreak and for the Drop Bears.
It would be a very nice bounce back from last week as well for Mindfreak. You know, going down 0-4 to Warriors, definitely not a good feeling. And while it may have been the expected result in that Warriors were the team going in that were the favourites, a 4-0 was probably just short of the mark of what Mindfreak would have, you know, at least been able to accept in a way. You know, if you go a 3-1 there or a 3-2 that you've lost, at least you've been able to get a couple of maps on the board. It was a fairly close affair in that case. But it wasn't at all. I mean, Warriors really kind of smacked away with Mindfreak, and it's very nice to see them bounce back today against Sydney Drop Bears. We're looking to see the 4-0 as well. I think that's within the realms of possibilities for Mindfreak.
Getting a good look. Some of the posters on the wall of these movies. I'm not sure. I think so. That would make sense. But what do I know? Coming out of the dodgiest looking warehouse in all of Havana right now. Every other building looking lovely. This one needs a bit of a paint job on the roof or something. The Drop Bears on defense and a Kraken already low. But a Dreamer once again somehow gets headshotted by Aki. The aim support's coming out strong. And look at this. So often, literally, I was going to say literally every other time, but the 2 times previously where we've seen this map so far this season, there's been a lot of time wasted just getting out the door. But for Mindfreak, not the case today.
Not so. Still, maybe they will waste a bit of time getting in the door because that's going to be the next objective. Sydney Drop Bears are able to get 2 defenses at the very least, but how strong those defenses are going to be remains to be seen. Yang has built quite a large portion of that Graviton surge.
Aki, Transcendence available here. Surely this gets them across the line on this fight if required. It's just really a matter of how long does this take. You got to get in now if you want to save Bus. Oh, he just manages to do so. The team's still alive, but they're not really finding any room. The Drop Bears stalling for as long as possible. In this time, they've managed to get a Kraken up. Fluoro's almost there, and Yang's about to be there as well. There's the self-destruct coming through from Kiki. This time, not going to find any picks. The Kraken and Aki both popping the Transcendence at almost the same time. There's the Shatter. It hits Kiki, but somehow Dreamer goes down. I guess it's when you drop the shield, Jordan, it makes you vulnerable. And as a result, he will lose his life. And as a result of that, Bus has essentially free reign to come on with his own Shatter. And that'll get them through the first checkpoint and into the distillery.
Yeah, Smash had some great insights and wisdom last week about the patient Reinhardt being the one that tends to get the better of that engagement, and true to his word. And even what we saw last week, Bus, he's shown a tendency to be the player to use the Earth Shatter second. And when he does, he tends to find a better Earth Shatter than his opponent, and that is, in a sense, winning the fight for Mindfreak.
I think that's smart, though. We'll go to that in just a bit, perhaps. But there's the self-destruct now going to come out from Shoyo, looking for picks. Won't find anyone, does a bit of damage, but not enough. Aki, though, will go down to Fluoro, and now the rest of this Mindfreak team looking a little bit unhealthy. I'm not sure if they're just holding... I was going to say holding their time, biding the time so they try and fall back. They do eventually fall back.
Whoa, Dreamer, he's just gone all the way.
Going ham. Here's the thing, Jordan, right? If you are always intending to be the second Earth Shatter, then theoretically you shouldn't have any problem keeping your shield up. You never, you know what I mean? You just commit to holding that right click down.
Until your shield gets broken.
Yeah, well, and at which point then you wish you had a shield again. At which point the Orisa gives you her shield and you put it on your head.
Yes, going back to yesterday's discussion.
Yes.
Still, I feel like the best instance of that would be on a Genji. Nonetheless, Nyang has built up the Graviton Surge and instantly invests it.
Yeah, straight into the payload. Self-destruct comes through as well. Aki going to use the trance to keep them going through. Tiki back into the mech. Bust has a shadow, uses that straight away. No, I lied. Dreamer used his burst. Bust came back second. Swilko with the shield for the team, and a Kraken going to use the final ultimate of this fight. No, Shoyo has now a self-destruct available. They've been managing to push the payload slowly but surely. No real fight win, Jordan.
Well, this might
up to
be
maybe this point. Let's wait and see.
Shoyo does actually catch Addy with that self-destruct, and the only trade back was Aki onto Shoyo, in fact. So Mindfreak are going to have to fall back. They're routed. And it's a stagger as well. Poor Kiki.
They're having a little bit of trouble getting through this second
Kiki
phase
actually got out
of the map.
just in time. The armor pack comes
And
through
look at
from
this.
August.
We're going to be 100% ready to get back in that mech. Great timing. Great timing. All right. Third time's the charm. We head back in. We'll contest the high ground once more. Dreamer actually a long way forward, unlike the rest of his team.
Ooh, decent shatter.
Yeah, Shatter hits Swilko and Aki will go down at 98% of the Transcendence as well. So that's another fight win here for the Sydney Drop Bears. They may have lost the last 3 maps, Jordan, but they're putting up a fight this time.
Well, they're slowly starting to make their way back into this series, aren't they? It's just unfortunate that it's too little too late. A bit of a closer affair on Numbani after they did eventually cap point A on their initial attack, and now we're seeing some good stuff on the defense. Great, solid defense here in Phase B of Havana. Mindfreak definitely struggling to push through this instance. Ton Surge is up for Nyang, not for Addy.
Going to hold the exact same point as before. Swilko going to get stunned up. The grab comes through. Kiki with a self-destruct, but it's been Nyang coming out with the grab. Transcendence from both teams. Dreamer the first one down. The Sydney Drop Bears now without their main tank and without their Brigitte. This is the time for Mindfreak to pounce.
It is indeed, but once again, we're going to be put in a situation like what we were in Phase A, where the payload isn't really quite close enough to mean here that Mindfreak are going to be able to cap point B without a contest.
You need to get your Reinhardt behind it and use the charge to push the payload further forward.
If only it was so easy. Diva as well could probably help out.
Yep.
That's a nice Graviton Surge.
Oh, nice grab, nice shatter, maybe nice self-destruct. No one goes down to the self-destruct, but somehow it's going to be enough from everything else. So,
well, I said there wasn't going to be much of a contest. I mean, I did say there was going to be a contest, sorry, but there wasn't actually much of a contest.
There wasn't even a self-destruct, Jordan.
No, there wasn't.
It was actually just Kiki looking like it was a self-destruct and instead throwing fists.
And it was, in fact, Dreamer with the Earth Shatter there as well, which didn't turn out to eventuate into a whole lot.
There you go. Alrighty. Move through to the third and final phase here of Havana. Mindfreak on attack, 90 seconds on the clock. A lot of ultimates in the back pocket as well. Shoyo with a real self-destruct this time. Won't find anyone. Swilko does invest defensive ultimate, but somehow Kiki does go down. This is going to make life tough, but that's
maybe
a
not.
Good shatter. Dreamer down. Yang was stung up as well. Winter goes down without being used the ulti. And the Drop Bears fall 1 by 1.
Yeah, Bust is an alpha. That's all I'm going to say. No Diva, no problem. When you have Bust. He's just going to continue pushing that payload. No problems at all.
He's an alpha bus. It's like the alphabet, but not.
Okay. It's like the Magic School Bus.
Yeah. Wouldn't that be?
Go anywhere, do anything.
I'd be going more.
Hopefully Miss Frizzle comes along for the ride.
I'd be going more interesting places than inside the body, that's all I'm saying. Like, go to the moon? Did they go to the moon? I'm sure
Pretty sure they went to the moon, yeah.
That's where I'd be going to the moon over and over. That would be a great ride.
24
Right now,
seconds.
Though, let's see what Mindfreak can do. They've been waiting or taking their time. does somehow manage to capture out Dreamer there with the grab, and Dreamer's actually going to go down to a charge, I think.
Yang is in all sorts of positions. What is going on there? Needs to get back into position, but it's too late. The entire team's fallen. He must have gotten booped off. There was nothing he could do, but at the very least does still have grab. It's going to be the last-ditch attempt for City Drop Bears. If this grab connects well, maybe the self-destruct can follow if Shoyo builds it in time. Self-destruct too early.
Oh,
Yang, he's held it for too long.
He throws it out.
It's too late.
But nothing's there. No one will get picked up. The big dropped by Fluoro, and a last-ditch self-destruct from Shoyo. Maybe they can make the most of this spawn advantage, but they're one by one trickling onto the point, and it's going to be very difficult for the Drop Bears to stop this payload. It looks to be perhaps just a matter of time, particularly now that Dreamer is down and Swilko buffs up everyone on his team with musical shields.
Well, good
Not
cap.
bad.
Good cap.
Not bad.
They did get stalled quite significantly in the Phase B stage of the map,
Yeah.
but even to be able to cap out Havana, we've seen in the last couple of days, hasn't
to be
been
enough,
too
right?
easy. Yeah.
You think?
Yeah.
Seemed to be enough.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, surely not a Mindfreak 4-0. Surely not Elfishguy.
I don't understand why you're in disbelief. Like, from what everything we've seen so far in this series is leading us toward a 4-0 for Mindfreak.
Yes, I understand that, but am I in, like, alternate reality world? I don't know.
Nope, this is the reality now.
This is it. This is it.
City
And
Drop
well,
Bears are not what they once were.
no, and the Mindfreak fans watching along at home, and of course the Mindfreak G players themselves, should be feeling pretty good about themselves right now. This is what they've been working towards, Jordan. This sort of match.
JB, Joshua Bustle, he's going to be going back on Twitch, making some more memes after this, I'm sure.
I don't doubt it. Don't doubt it. What's in that building? Is it full of barrels? Is it just like a barrel room? I wonder. I don't remember. We're going to get to look inside. Let's go in.
No, we're just
Oh,
taking creeper shots of Widowmaker.
through the window.
What's new?
It's just a garage.
Yeah.
It's just a garage. Well, where do they keep the barrels? That's what I want to know.
Ask the not so important questions, Ben.
Where do they keep the barrels? If someone knows, tweet at me, please. Thank you. Anyway, let's see what the Drop Bears can do. They would love to find themselves a consolation map here today, but they've left themselves with a lot of work to be done here on Havana. Get this payload across the line and do so with a bit of time on the clock. Once again, we're going to be seeing Goats with Sombra. They've been favouring this style all day long, and not once has it got them a map win.
Yeah, but sometimes you just got to stick with what you know.
Yeah.
Right, Mindfreak definitely having a better time defending from the outset than Sydney Drop Bears did. Dreamer, if you remember, did get picked off really early, and that allowed Mindfreak to just push past this part of the map. And I mean, this is even more of an aggressive defense or a forward defense from Mindfreak than we've seen actually so far in AU Contenders. They're really feeling it. They're really putting that pressure onto Sydney Drop Bears. Nice hack onto Bus will force him back just a little bit, but that'll wear off shortly.
EMP available, ready to go. Bus is low, Bus goes down, August goes down. EMP not required, but as we always say, Jordan, because the first fight was so far forward, they're going to get a chance to fight this one out again a little bit later on before the payload goes through checkpoint A.
Yeah, they've already bought quite a lot of time.
They have indeed.
Payload only now starting to move. And look at the ultimates that Mindfreak have got here, but geez. Earth Shatter for Bus, you know that's going to have an impact.
Yeah.
And there's double support ultimates probably on both sides for the fight. In fact, most likely we're going to get 6 ultimates out from both teams here. So it's going to be an absolute banger of a fight.
Got to be a lot invested, but we've seen a lot of fights so far where a lot is invested and no one goes down.
It's a nice spot for Addy here. Going to make the grabs really easy. The right click certainly. Shadow doesn't actually have an impact this time from Bus. Good block.
EMP hits 1, 2, 3. Aki still had that transcendence out as Bus goes down early to a crack, and Dreamer follows up with his own ultimate. For the Sydney Drop Bears, though, they're winning this fight. They'll get through the first checkpoint, and they'll do it with 2 support ultimates and a Graviton Surge available. Not bad.
Yeah.
Changes now for Mindfreak as well.
Not a major one, just the Ana coming across for Aki. That'll give you a bit more survivability, I'd say, through the Sombra being able to flank around behind. Especially when you don't have Transcendence.
Grab from Addy, sound barrier from Fluoro, and a grab from Shoyo. Sees a lot thrown into this fight. Silco's dropped the beat also. And August has used Rally. Dreamer with a shatter. Hits Addy, and August has gone down to Fluoro. This should mean that the Drop Bears again have an advantage in this fight. They've got a little bit of momentum. It took them a while to get out the door, Jordan. It's like going on a Macca's run and there's still one Joker playing a game. You're like, we're ready to go. Get in the car. But they're just sitting back waiting. No, I'm in a comp game. I can't go yet. Anyway, everyone's in the car. The payload's going and they're on their way. And they're doing it quickly.
Yeah, they're doing it pretty quick indeed. It's like going through a Macca's drive-through. Doesn't take too long. So far, hasn't taken too long for Sydney Drop Bears through Phase B, but of course there is one more opportunity for a defense for Mindfreak. Although, how much of a defense are you going to really be able to get?
EMP.
Oh, it was cancelled. He got detected. I was waiting for it.
That was the one part, Jordan, that I said before when it was easy. Where's the brig? Stay away.
Good job, August.
Perfect job from August.
That's the second big ultimate that he's cancelled. If you remember, he blocked the Shatter as well.
Shatter, yeah.
Like I said, man, everyone on this Mindfreak roster is just having their moment today.
Yeah.
Countless great Shatters, countless great self-destructs, 2 ultimate cancels from August, all the Graviton Surges that Annie's been able to connect. I don't think he's missed a single one. Swilko had the beat on Temple of Anubis, and Aki with all those Transcendences as well. It's just been a very across-the-board performance from Mindfreak, but they're all peaking at the right time. It's exactly what you want to see from Mindfreak. Still, 2 minutes to hold here in Phase B is quite a significant, ample amount of time for Sydney Drop Bears.
Oh, Shoyo's going to go down.
It's another good Graviton Surge.
Yeah. You can hear 2 Earth Shatters also coming out. It's actually a very good Shatter coming out from a Bath. But the payload now contested as Mindfreak drop on top of it just to try and slow this down. It's a 1v1. Who's going to win? The support?
No way.
How's that even possible?
And he deserves this as well. He deserves that. You can see a little bit of a taunt at the end there. I mean, that was not a fight that a Kraken would be feeling too happy about losing because Aki was on like 50 HP that whole time.
Yeah. Yeah. Good on you, Aki. Nice work. Nice work. All right. Oh, here's the play. All right, let's see.
Look at that. He gets like the first tag.
Misses the sleep dart.
No, it's because a Kraken gets the first tag. You just look at that fight. You're like, that's not going to go well for Aki at all. But he just connects the shots.
Oh, like 30 ultimates thrown into one fight, and it's going to see Dreamy going down once again. Bus still alive, just. Bus is going to have the Earth Shatter available also, and we're saying, hey, 2 minutes on the clock. They're halfway through this second phase of the map. It's, 2 minutes is a ton of time to get through this checkpoint, through the distillery phase, Jordan. But now we see ourselves with 40 seconds. Yang cannot afford for this EMP not to go off.
Yeah, absolutely. Swilko does have a beat, though. If he can dodge the EMP, he can keep his team alive through that. Addy has a grab. If they engage the fight before Yang gets that EMP out, maybe there's still something to be said for Mindfreak, and
nice
they will.
Early grab comes through. Fluoro with the beat, the hack on to Kiki.
Shatter.
Shatter comes
sleep dart.
through.
The sleep dart.
Does it? I don't even. Did it stop it?
Yeah, it cancelled the Shatter.
How is that? How is that anyway?
Well,
whatever.
Kraken's fired up after losing the 1v1 to Aki.
He's had enough. He's like, well, I'm not playing.
They don't even need the EMP, Ben. They don't even need the EMP.
Wow.
So that's going to be saved through. That's huge news.
Can I just say that I can't help but feel that the fact that Aki beat a Kraken in the 1v1 caused a Kraken to change across to Ana, which allowed a Kraken to have the sleep dart.
Maybe.
If he'd lost the 1v1, maybe he would have still been on Zenyatta.
Lost the battle, won the war.
And they would have won that fight.
Is the war won just yet? Look at this. It's a recontest from Mindfreak, although perhaps...
An average one.
Yeah, a little ambitious, maybe. They kind of went 1 by 1, and Mindfreak have subsequently been dispatched off quite easily.
Through.
It's a bit of a feed, really, from Mindfreak. When you look at it, Sydney Drop Bears now have a lot to play with.
They do indeed in 90 seconds to make it work. As you can recall, I guess, as you can see even, Mindfreak got all the way, but did so in overtime, which means they have no time left on the clock. So the Drop Bears have the potential actually to come out of this one with an advantage.
I kind of want to see Mindfreak go for a bit of a forward fight here, but it doesn't really look like they're setting up for that. Now finally starting to move forward. If you lose the fight here, you still have the opportunity to recontest, and it burns the EMP.
EMP hits 5. A big 5 players going to be caught out there by that one, and with Bus going down, with Kiki going to get DMAC'd, the rest of the team will follow. It all for, I was going to say, the cost of 1 ulti, actually the cost of 2 with Dreamer using a fat shatter in the process.
Yeah, but that, I think, for Mindfreak is a little bit of a weight off their shoulders now, because they
I
go
agree.
into this final fight, 30 seconds on the clock. They know Sydney Drop Bears are not going to have anything left here in the tank to play with, so they're just going to throw everything in Mindfreak. There's no reason to try and play for the ult economy, save anything through.
Yep.
No EMP to cancel these 5 ultimates.
Yep, perfect. That was the whole point of that forward fight, I suppose,
And
Jordan.
what can they follow up with this grab of Shoyo? Nothing.
Grab
Nothing
with
to
the
follow up.
self-destruct comes through. Bast goes down, but a Kraken is also found out. It's a 1-for-1, the beat for both teams. Mindfreak, theirs was just a little bit later. They're also going to have the rally coming out from August. They've got the spawn advantage. The question is, will this be enough for them to win? Dreamer's gone down, no maintain
Shatter,
for
man.
the Drop Bears.
Here comes the Shatter.
And with Bast, throws the Shatter underneath the payload. It hits the Zarya. It's only a matter of time, Elfishguy. This, to me, looks like it's about to be a clean 4-0 wipe for Mindfreak G up against the Sydney Drop Bears. You can't help but say congratulations to the team who has come so far. What a great result for them.
Yeah, I think it's very fitting at the end there as well that it's Buster's Shatter that really seals the deal, if it wasn't already. I mean, what a progression for him as an individual, starting on, was it Bin Chickens, who went 0 and 20.
What a name.
Literally went 0 and 20. Did not win a single round, single map, anything in that Season 2 of Overwatch Contenders 2018. And all of a sudden now we find him
Look at where he is.
moving on to Heist, to Ground Zero, now into Mindfreak, which maybe arguably even a better team than the Heist and the Ground Zero rosters of old. Certainly the results are looking pretty good for them so far this season, and a great series from Bus. I'd say he's probably my individual MVP, but there was definitely a lot of individual performances. I think Kiki definitely would feel a little bit robbed if Bus got the MVP maybe, so I don't know who you really want to give it to, Ben, but for me I think just a great all-round performance from
Bas
Mindfreak
played
today.
well, Kiki played well, August played well. Look, I'm not going to, I guess I could just list off everyone on the Mindfreak
Don't
team.
fall
Let's
into
be
that
real.
trap, I've already done that.
You get to the end, you're like,
But
hang on.
It is what it is, though. You know,
dear.
like I don't think that there was really necessarily a weak link there today for Mindfreak. When you look over to Sydney Drop Bears, I mean, I don't really want to go and name names, but I do feel as though there was certain things that could have been done better.
Do we
from
feel like
individuals.
there's a lack of synergy right now for the Drop Bears? Is that the thing, or are they just being outplayed in general?
Yeah, I think there probably is a little bit of lack of synergy, perhaps a lack of the individuals being able to execute what they need to be doing in certain situations. Yeah, I mean, there's definitely a lot of factors that probably go into it for Sydney Drop Bears, again, with a couple of Koreans and the majority being English speakers. Maybe there's something going on there as well. Maybe it's going to take time, but for Sydney Drop Bears, that's actually, again, you know, a bit of a wake-up call in a way, where they've been kind of cruising along this season. A loss to Order probably was expected. The win against Legacy 3-1, you could say, oh, you know, that wasn't so bad. They got the win, they got 3-1. What's a map at the end of the day? But now a 0-4 loss to Mindfreak, that is like, oh, okay, hang on. We need to take a step back here and we need to really have a look at this and see what's going wrong, because that actually might be a series that, in the grand scheme of things, could knock Sydney Drop Bears out of the top 4. If all things kind of go to plan, right? If Order starts getting back on the board, they start performing well, still have to try to deal with them probably being in toward the top 4. Then you're looking at teams like Atletico, who up to this week played pretty well. Obviously not so much the case yesterday against Ground Zero, but there's the other team that you have to think about. Now Ground Zero really starting to get their stuff together, and Mindfreak, the same can be said for them. So that might be your top 4. It might be Warriors, Ground Zero, Mindfreak, and Order. And then where's Sydney Drop Bears? Like, that would be unprecedented. But it kind of is a situation that it feels like it could happen.
It kind of feels.
Again, lots of ifs and buts.
It is.
Especially considering Order haven't been performing at all, and that's a big if they can come back into the top 4. I still have faith that that's possible.
Okay.
But if they don't, you know, maybe then Sydney Drop Bears can sneak back in. But, like, I mean, geez.
It's going to be tough to sneak back in from here, right? They played 3, lost 2, won 4 maps total, right, across 3 matches.
It's just not going well, is it?
So that is not the start. You can have a bad start to the season, but this isn't the bad start that you want. The bad start is the one where you play all the top teams and you're just a little bit unlucky.
You lose match 1, and then you come back and yeah. But that hasn't been the case. At least that's sort of the case for Order. Having lost against Atletico, they've still won 2 matches. You know, it's not like they're really in the bin just yet.
Yeah.
With the chickens.
Not yet. Not yet, indeed. Jordan, it's time for our Macca's play of the game. A McDonald's Australia play of the game. It was the Sydney Drop Bears up against Mindfreak. Gee, I'm ready for a big diva bomb. Some might call it Kiki's delivery service, Jordan. Whatever it may be, it's not the delivery you want to see if you are the Drop Bears.
Yeah, it's a little bit reminiscent again, like I said, of the heist roster of old, if you remember the...
Yeah. Look at this. Look at Bus. Ready?
Yeah.
Boom.
I mean, that's a massive team play. It's not like you can give that necessarily to an individual. And again, I think that sort of ties back into what we've been saying about this Mindfreak roster. It was an excellent Graviton Surge by Addy. It was an excellent self-destruct from Kiki. And obviously an excellent charge from Bus. So all 3 of them get the Big Mac from me.
Yeah.
Maybe they can share a 10-pack of chicken nuggets.
Yeah.
Don't know how that equally divides into 3, but they'll figure it out.
I'll eat 1 to help.
Okay.
I'll eat the first one. How about I eat the first 7? They can get 1 each.
I was going to say, that sounds more likely than you only being
But you're right. It is
one.
very much a team play. It's like when you see those videos that go for like a minute of the kids in the pool throwing the ball up. There's that one. There's you. There's the one. The guy at the end gets to do the dunk, but it's the other 20 people that have gone around in circles doing the cool stuff on camera beforehand.
Over and over and over again.
Over and over and over and over. Yes. Well, this time you don't get to fail in Contenders because if you do, you lose. And
then you're in relegations. Though, with that said, the teams that were in relegations last season kind of made it back through to this season. So.
And potentially better than before. But that is our first series done and dusted. Jordan, coming up next, it's the Melbourne Mavericks up against the Warriors. The Mavs with their backs up against the wall. Let's see how they go against one of the top teams in the region.